And happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome in Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you. Hope you're having an awesome start to your day. JoJo, what's up?
As I say every morning, 9 o'clock comes around the same time every day, and I'm never quite prepared. So, all right, I'm here now. Things are good. What's up, man?
But you've been doing so much show prep. And, our pre-show meeting was great.
Our pre-show meeting ran into Robbie and Rexroad's pre-show meeting, so that's just crazy.
I mean, the joke you told, Dr. Crane spit milk out of his nose,
man. Glad HR wasn't around for that one.
It's a big old knee slapper.
It was. The old knee slapper for sure. What's up, Dr. Crane? How are you?
I'm going. Let's put it
good.
there.
That's good.
Last night was a rough one. Had to put an oven door on. Took about an hour and a half. Had a few neighbors come over. It was
Hold
Wait. What?
Huh?
so the oven door. There was something that fell inside the oven door where the glass is. So you
Okay.
got to clean it out. So you got to take it off the hinges.
Okay.
So when you take it off the hinges, they're like these latches, and so the latches kept like clicking, and they weren't fully out. So you have to put it at a 45-degree angle. And when you put it in, it would click. So you had to like open the clip, make sure it was at the angle, put it in, clip it back so it'll lock, and then put it in. So it took an hour and a half.
Okay, so
There's a lot to unpack here.
a couple things. If you're out there in radio land and you need somebody to fix or clean, fix your oven door,
Both fix or clean.
okay, give Dr. Crane a call.
I wouldn't
Were you
recommend.
by yourself in this endeavor?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I had the whole neighborhood just about. So, yeah.
What
So-
fell?
Nothing fell. It was more of food got in the like crevices in between the I guess the glass and the metal. So if you would open the door, you would see like whatever was being baked in the oven in the glass. So you don't want
no.
that when people come by, like, oh, this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I figured out who you are. You're Dexter. You're the TV show Dexter. That's what you are.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Attention to detail, and then at nighttime it's something else.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
either
feel
that
like every time I ask you, like, "Hey, Dr. Crane, how's it going?" You always have a wild adventure that has happened the night before.
Life is like a playground. We're on the swing set right now going back and forth.
I
Is
like
that what
it.
it is?
That's
Life-
exactly what it is.
Hey, didn't Jimmy Buffett have a song, "Life is a Tire Swing"?
Did he?
Maybe
I think
he
he
had 1,000 songs. So I only listened to the same 18 over and over again, as we did in Florida,
As we did in Florida.
back and back and back.
We got a big one planned today, big show. Delaney Walker, former Titans tight end, going to join us at 10:15. Really looking forward to that conversation. Obviously, get his thoughts on the current team, Mike Vrabel, Derrick Henry, and the passing of Frank Wycheck as well. Because I know they had obviously spent some time together. And really, you think about tight ends in this organization as the Titans, those are the two that are at the top of everybody's list. So-
Absolutely, they are. Yeah, and
So looking forward to that.
He came over here, and Delaney, from the 49ers and gave everything he had for a few years with the Titans on some really bad Titans football teams, and the guy just gave everything all the time. So it'll be good to catch up with him.
Also, Greg Wyshynski going to join us before that at 9:30. What's funny about Frank and Delaney is they're both similar in that they were with other teams and weren't really used much. And
Right.
like Delaney was on the 49ers and wasn't really used much, and then comes here and breaks out. And Frank was on the Redskins, comes here, breaks out. Just have that similar story.
Hey, you know what? You get the second chance. All these guys want are chances. And so he was with the 49ers for 7 years, made the Super Bowl with them in 2012, and they came over here as with the Titans also for 7 years. So, it's Frank and then Delaney as far as, the tight ends in this since they moved here in 99.
You can always interact with us on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dr. Crane's Cleaning Services taking appointments now. Book your home cleaning today. That's from Chris.
Yeah, oven cleaning at its finest. Read the reviews. He'll not only will he clean your oven, but he'll have a nice conversation with you.
That is correct.
Well, he's a friendly fella.
With the holiday season around, you may get some Italian cooking involved. You never know.
Nice. We need to come up with a
We
name.
like
for
that.
it. Can we get a name for Dr. Crane?
Can you cook something for lunch so Rex Road and Robbie will shut up about their damn lunch?
Sure. I
That'd
mean,
be great. And Keyser, who worked his way
Yeah.
into that somehow and did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I could do that. We could go we could go pasta. We could do fettuccine, pasta
that's fine.
fazool. We
Okay,
could
we
do
can do
some
that.
lasagna.
Just make it, and we'll say that we picked it up from Fazoli's, and they can
we'll be
shut
perfect
up
like
and
that.
say that they're
Let's
or
say-
Maggiano's.
Let's
or
say
something.
Carrabba's.
Do you
a
know-
little
that
more
works, too.
fancier?
Do you know how to make Soylent Green?
Come again?
Soylent Green. If you could make Soylent Green, we could serve that to him.
I've never heard of Soylent Green. I'm
Well,
gonna be
please
honest.
Google later on, then you'll have a nice little hearty laugh.
Okay.
Should he Google that at work? Or?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's a movie with Charlton Heston in the 70s where they ran out of food and they start eating people, and they call it Soylent Green. It's a fascinating movie. You should. If you've never seen it,
Did not go where I thought it was.
if
gonna
you've
go.
never seen
Neither
it,
did I.
my young folks in there, if you've never seen it, you need to watch it because it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Not funny. It's just like funny, like how this could end up happening one day to us. So what we need now, we need a name for Dr. Crane's Dr.
Crane?
Crane's oven cleaning service.
Oh well, maybe that's it. Dr. Crane's oven cleaning service.
Something better like bun in the oven, or something something better than that. We'll figure it out on the show today. By the way, because we're promoting this, we get a third of your business profits.
We're your agent, so
That's fine.
We get something for it.
Willie said the same thing about Tyson Berry and I looking alike. He said, I'm his agent. So I was like, all right.
There you go. So the Texans coming to town this weekend. The Titans will once again be in the Oilers uniforms, which I think is appropriate. Billy White Shoes Johnson going in the Ring of Honor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Probably should have been a long time ago. I mean, the guy was pop culture football back before pop culture football. I mean, we all emulated. Every kid emulated Billy White Shoes Johnson in the backyard. All of us did.
The Funky Chicken.
All of us did. Every one of us. If you scored a touchdown, you would do them. There was an amazing celebration, touchdown dance, celebratory, whatever. It's touchdown dance in the end zone. It's good. Now, and, I know Vrabel hinted about going to wear a cowboy hat to the game, but I mean, just to do it, he would endear himself so much to everybody if he came out looking like Bum Phillips.
Well, he was asked about that yesterday, which was pretty funny. And like you said, he was pretty much saying that he would wear it to the game, maybe not wear it on the sideline. And then Jim Wyatt tweeted out a picture that somebody had put together of Vrabel in the 10-gallon hat or whatever.
Yeah, right?
Like Bum Phillips. Do we have that? Okay, this was yesterday.
Phillips style cowboy hat on.
I don't know. I probably got caught up in the moment.
I voted in favor.
You voted. How about I just wear one to the game?
Will you do that?
I'll wear one to the game on that little walk up where Teron takes all the pictures.
You already have one picked out?
No, I don't. No, I need
Shopping
one.
spree?
Oh, yes. But I don't pay attention to any writers or reporters or what they got to say or their tweets. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's good. I think this could be our question of the day because people are texting in about Dr. Crane's cleaning service.
Yeah, what we got?
Of course, Josh and Burns, it's like, it's people. Shouldn't Green is people.
That's right. That's from the movie.
Michael and Madison, Triple C, Crane's Cleaning and Cooking Service.
Yeah. I love it.
8586, Between Two Panes Cleaning Service.
That's a good one.
Daryl, Oven Lovin'.
Oh, these are fantastic. Oh, my goodness.
1589 goes, I don't think Big Joe knows what bun in the oven means.
Oh, yeah, I do. I've had two, so trust me, I know. Oh, Oven Lovin's good, man. That's really good. These are all good, but that stands out.
Crazy Crane's Cooking and Cleaning Service.
Yeah, I like
He's
it.
rolling in.
1761. And what? And,
Don't read it as it is. No, don't.
I don't know what he's doing.
I'll look it up.
Roberts, yeah, talking about Billy White Shoes Johnson. It was a TD dance that every white kid could do.
Yes, that is so true. Oh, that's so true.
Well, and I like that Nick Westbrook-Akina did it when he scored when they wore the Oilers uniforms against the Falcons. He did the funky chicken because White Shoes was there. White Shoes was the guy they brought out for the fourth quarter. And this weekend, I believe it's going to be number 87, Kevin Dyson,
Oh, is that the
legend of the game.
comes out? What game was it I went to? The Bengals game?
I think that's fitting. The Music City Miracle can honor 89.
Okay.
I like that.
What game was it? Bullock that came out and they honored, and he was talking just smack to the
yeah.
Bengals
Yeah.
in the end zone. It was so great.
And he was
man.
like, yeah, shout out to my boy Vrabes.
Yeah, don't read one. I think 1761 needs to hit the Mike Munchak. We call that
Yeah,
the block.
Yeah, I don't.
That's just weird.
He's been.
There's some weird responses.
I know, like-
weird. Just don't contemplate it. Just do that. Just
Yeah.
move it
I
on.
don't know. You got our attention. There you go.
Good loud.
Chris says, I just saved your show. You're welcome. Did it need saving? But thank you, Chris. I mean,
yeah,
you
it
gave us
did.
a good. You gave us a good topic. That's for sure. 615-737-1025. We'll have Greg Wyshynski coming up at the bottom of the hour, and also Delaney Walker joining us at 10:15. We'll continue the Titans discussion next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
he's healthy. I saw you try to get him involved early last week, but I mean, is there something that could be done to get him just more in the flow of the game?
I mean, it's just sometimes that the ball, got to be able to find you. I mean, he was running. I mean, he created Hop's explosive game there at the end. I mean, he's rolling through there, and if they come off of him and they take Hop, then I know that Will's going to let that ball go. And so, I think there's some of those things that don't lead to catches, but that are still making the play. It's like defensive linemen. You can make the play without making a tackle. And I know that doesn't sound great for a receiver, but a big guy that's rolling through the middle of the field, that's taking coverage with them, that's creating Hop, who is our most targeted player, allow him to be wide open. That's a big factor in why that play was successful.
That was Mike Vrabel yesterday on Traylon Burks and getting him more involved. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studio, and our show presented by Regal Realty Group. So I heard the discussion that Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace were having yesterday, and Derek had tweeted about it Monday night that he kind of felt like they were putting Traylon Burks out there more as a decoy with the routes that he was running, that they weren't trying to get him the ball, and that they need to get him the football more. And then you hear Vrabel's comments there, and it kind of confirmed that, in my opinion, that he was doing things on plays that were getting other guys open, but it does feel like they're not targeting him quite as much as maybe you would expect them to as a first-round pick. But, here's my thing, Joe, and you and I have discussed this, that I'm not going to call him a bust necessarily, but he's not living up to the first-round selection.
Not even close.
And so they've given him opportunities to make big plays. He drops the football. And, he can't stay on the field. He gets hurt. So, even if they are using him as a decoy, I mean, why would you go away from DeAndre Hopkins, especially because the chemistry that Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins has developed is obviously being productive?
Well, not only that, but you think the Texans are scared of Traylon Burks?
No.
I mean, if you run him a decoy, just put a single coverage on him and let him do his thing and run out over there. I would not be worried about Burks at all. It was a hurried, quick pick after they traded A.J. Brown because they needed to get somebody in there. And it was bad. It's just a bad pick. It's just, why can't we admit it was a bad pick? Are we so afraid to say it was a bad pick?
I mean, it was a bad pick.
Yeah, it was a bad pick. He's not anywhere near what a first round. Look, he'll be compared. He's a first round pick.
Do you think he's a bust? Where are you going to put bust next to his name?
Not yet. Not until he's
gone.
gone. If he's gone on the team, then he's a bust. I mean, there's always a chance he can come out this weekend and have a great. And, I would love for him to go out and have a great game this weekend. And these last four games really play out.
He was targeted 3 times Monday night and had the 1 catch for 1 yard.
Hey, that's 1 more yard than I had.
Well, that's true.
But I would not he'll always be compared as a first rounder because he was taken in the first round. Unfortunately, he'll always be compared to A.J. Brown. That's what's going to happen. He's nowhere near A.J. Brown talent-wise. He's not good on that level. He doesn't put fear in anybody. So, there's a few catches he's made along the way, which are great. But you want to see that over and over and over again, such as DeAndre Hopkins. You're not seeing that from Burks at all. So, and to tell me that if they've put him in their game plan at all, the Titans, no, they're not allowing him for anything.
Because you know why? I don't think they trust him.
No, not at all.
And they shouldn't. I mean, he's going to have to earn that trust. Dylan just sent this in. This stat is telling. Traylon Burks receiving this season, 9 receptions, 123 yards, no touchdowns. Derrick Henry receiving this season, 23 receptions, 202 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah.
I mean, they're trusting the running back to catch football more than they are him.
Yeah, so he's not part of the plan. I think going forward, they're like, all right, we're going to see what we can use out of him and get the rest of this and go forward with it, but he's nothing puts scare or fear in any other team at all. 0.
Yeah. What? Andrew says, Chase, I'm worried we might lose you to the Hallmark Channel. Your voice is getting me in the Christmas spirit. Well, why?
I don't know. That is something.
Is that a good thing?
4366 said AJ had to develop also. Incorrect. AJ hit the ground running in 2019. Remember that game against the Falcons when Mariota and him just kind of lit up the Falcons?
Yep.
AJ hit the ground running over here. He did not have to be, I'm not going to say babied is the word, but AJ came in on a mission, and Treylon Burks did not come on a mission. He had the asthma problems and then everything else that kind of went with it, and it's night and day. I mean, AJ is so much better than him.
Something that I learned very early on working with D-Mace was the term dog, that he's got dog in him. You know, and it's not D-O-G, but he's got dog. Like, he's got that something that you can't teach, that they're going to go out there and go the extra mile and make the play. I think we knew early on A.J. Brown had dog in him. Like, he was going to go out there and he was going to outwork you, and he was going to get the football, and he was going to make a play for his team. I don't know if I can say that about Treylon Burks.
No.
You know, and here's the thing about having dog in it. You can't teach it. You either have it or you don't. And so I kind of feel like with Burks that there are certainly signs that say that he doesn't have it. Now, I thought it was interesting that Derek was kind of defending him yesterday about, and do we have some of that? This was a little bit of what Derek was saying about Burks yesterday.
You're losing your mind over here listening to Mike
because it's just like, man, come on. Be real with them. I mean, as real as you possibly can, I guess. Let me just say that. Because that's what they are. It's like, oh, we don't design plays. But then he had to stop himself. He stopped himself. He was like, we don't design plays for – then he starts – because, damn it, you do. You design plays for Diop, which Diop deserves. The guy is going to walk into the Hall of Fame at least 5 or 6 years after he retired, because you get 5 years before you can get nominated. So you design plays for him. Vrabel even said it. He's the most targeted guy on our team. So we got to do things to get the most targeted guy on our team open. Damn it, why you can't do that for Treylon Burks? See, that stuff don't fly with players. You can tell media guys that, but that stuff don't fly with players. Oh, let me show film of him clearing it out. Yes, I understand that. Yes, everybody has a job to do. I get it. But every time I go out there, it can't be that same job.
That was D-Mace yesterday. And look, you guys know I love D-Mace and have a lot of respect for him, but I disagree with him. Like, they're not designing plays for – and I mean, I agree with him that, yes, they design plays for certain players. I think we all know that, you know, you're going to play to a guy's strength. But they're not involving Treylon Burks and not designing plays for him because they don't trust him. It's simple as that to me. They don't trust him to make the play.
I think they feel obligated because he's a first rounder to show everybody, hey, we made the right pick with this guy. But they know. I mean, Vrabel's not stupid. He knows. And that, you know.
And Tim Kelly's not stupid either.
No, he's not. I mean, put Chris Moore or NWI or whomever else is in there to do that. But Burks is, to me, is a non-topic. It's just, it's like talking about the backup guard.
Sure.
It's just nothing.
Well, because here's the thing. What's the, you know, already looking ahead to the offseason, the number one need for this team and the number two need for this team are offensive line. I think we all agree that. What's the number three need? Probably a receiver.
Yeah.
If Treylon Burks was that guy and Treylon Burks, they trusted him and Treylon Burks was making the plays, then you're probably not as worried about receiver. But you're worried about receiver because all you really have right now is DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's it. That's why the whole Burks discussion to me is a gigantic waste of time. We know what he is. He's injured. He doesn't play. He scares no one. And, again, I'd like him to come out there Sunday and show us all wrong. I'd love for him to show us all wrong. He's had ample opportunities. It's nothing. I mean, I'd put Chris Moore in there or anybody else.
Andrew makes a really good point on the text line. Treylon is another one of those players that ain't it, but we will make excuses until we get sick of them. Burks, Malik, Mariota, Corey Davis, Adoree Jackson, folks like that, but they ain't that good.
Yeah, I mean,
He's not wrong.
There was some bad draft. I mean, you go back and look, and Wilson and Farley. I mean, just some really, really bad picks that they got, and nobody to blame but themselves on all that. And you know, it's crazy. Had Isaiah Wilson, it's like we played that what if game, which is a lot of fun sometimes. Had Isaiah Wilson come in and really been a good, not all pro, but a good left tackle, man, that would have solved so many problems going forward. And then if Farley would have come in and been a nice shutdown corner or whatever position he was, And then Burks, don't trade AJ. We could do this all day long
Yeah.
and keep going on
Sure.
and on and drive us insane.
And Amy in Arkansas makes a good point too. Burks had 2 concussions where he was knocked unconscious in a year. He said after that game Sunday, he doesn't even remember the Pittsburgh game. That is scary, not his fault. He's not pulling hamstrings. These are legit freak circumstances. He has had some hammy stuff, but no, I agree. Look, you can't control concussions, and
But he was disappointing before.
right.
That's the point.
That's the thing, and I appreciate the text, Amy, but that. Like, we look at that and go, okay, well, that's not his fault. Okay, that's true, but he still was underperforming before that.
Well,
He still made some big drops. Like, I've seen, whoever was at quarterback, whether it was Tannehill or Levis, mainly Tannehill, put the ball right in the numbers and he drops it.
Yeah. Gene says, I'll still go back to Monday night game, the long pass to Burks. It was a 50-50 ball, and his effort sucked. He did not aggressively go after the ball. We even said that in the press box. It's like he didn't fight for that ball at all. And that's it. That's the effort you want to get. And that's the effort that drives receiver coaches and head coaches, but a receiver coach crazy, because effort is something you can't control. And there was no effort on that ball. Then it's like, I might go up and get it or not. But he's done that before whenever it's not been there. Come back for a ball, go up hot for a ball, fight for a ball. And we haven't seen that from him.
Coming up next, we'll shift gears, get into some hockey with our man Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. He will join the show in an effort to aid those affected by the tornadoes from this past weekend. The Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee and the United Way of Greater Nashville have activated emergency relief funds. For more information on how you can donate, visit cfmt.org or thegamenashville.com. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Let's talk some hockey with Greg Wyshynski of ESPN. Joins us every Thursday at this time. Greg, good morning. What's up?
What's up with you? How's it going?
Doing fantastic. Really enjoyed the piece that you did yesterday on ESPN.com about Connor Ingram. Of course, the Coyotes goaltender spent several years in the Predators organization and had a couple of starts here in Nashville. But, you know, it's documented stuff he's been through. But for you to sit down with him and to tell his story, I thought was really cool.
It's a wild story. I mean, I had sort of known that he had dealt with the OCD thing and had kind of, which had gone undiagnosed for a long time. And in fact, it was the reason why he was considering quitting hockey at one point. But, you know, he was also dealing with depression. He was close with a lot of the Humboldt Broncos players that lost their lives in that bus accident. And then also, you know, had this entire ordeal in Sweden that I had almost forgotten about because it was during like COVID times of him being accused of fixing games, of fixing a game based on what ended up being one, human error at a sports book, and two, a Swedish media outlet thinking that they were talking to the general manager of his team, and it ended up being a wrong number.
Oh, no.
So that was the part that was stunning. Connor gets into it in the piece that we did, but like this whole thing like swung on the fact that they thought they were texting with the GM of the team, and in fact they were texting with the wrong number, who was playing along and saying things like, yeah, we sent him home because he was fixing games or something. So it's a crazy story.
Yeah, and I love when you do stories like this because I think it's important to learn more about, you know, we just see these guys playing hockey, but there's obviously a human side to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was good. It was good to talk to him, good to tell his story, good to put the spotlight on a guy having a really good season, and just, you know, obviously story's only as good as the guy you're talking to, and Connor's a really well-liked guy. I was talking to some people yesterday that said that he's also one of their favorite social media follows. So good story there. And again, like the sort of the underlying thing of the whole thing is that he's a guy that was sort of bouncing around the American Hockey League, the ECHL. Obviously, the Predators had him for a spell, and he was just one of these players, kind of like Aiden Hill last year for the Golden Knights, who, you know, you just wait on these guys sometimes, and sometimes it's the goalies that develop later in their careers. And Ingram himself said, you know, there's guys that come into the league at 21 and they're stars, and then there's guys like me that just kind of grind it out and then eventually get their chance. And he's a real good story.
Yeah, so check it out at ESPN.com. Greg Wyshynski is with us from ESPN. So Craig Berube joins the list of coaches that have been let go so far this year, 3 of them in total. Were you surprised by that the Blues decided to go ahead and make the move with them in a rebuild, or did it kind of make sense?
Well, it's like, so we have a coach's hot seat story on the site today. You could read it there. It's like checking the temperature for all 32 coaches. And originally, as I wrote it this week, Berube was in that top category, the hottest of hot seats. So I either called it right or was a little bit too early with it because I had to remove him when he got fired. But, you know, he's clearly something was going to change in St. Louis. And, you know, the cap being what it is and you know, the trades being difficult to make for teams right now. Doug Armstrong, their GM, obviously isn't going to fire himself. So there had to be some change made, which means it's Berube taking the fall. I think that's a team that is the problem is construction. It's not coaching. They are a team that's lost some pretty key character guys for the last couple of years, including, you know, trying to have a face-off with Alex Pietrangelo over a no-movement clause that had him glancing over at Vegas and eventually signing there, which I think is really what started the unraveling of the Blues. So, you know, somebody had to take the fall there. They're obviously not performing where Doug Armstrong believes they should be. But I think ultimately the problem with the team is Doug Armstrong. I think ultimately the problem with the team right now is the way that it's built, including a defense core that has a ton of no trade clauses rather, and really needs to be changed in a pretty dramatic way.
All right, Greg, we spoke to you at the beginning of the season, and you had said you put down the Nashville Predators would make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we said, why, to get your thoughts about that. And you said they got a lot of great young talent mixed with some old talent. Andrew Brunette, coaching style is going to make it work. After kind of a sluggish start, it's all coming together. So I always go back to you that day talking about Brunette and the coaching style, how it will work with this team. So I got to give you a shout out on that because this team is on fire, Greg.
They are, and obviously as the season's gone on, UC Soros has gotten better, which I think has certainly helped them, in the standings. And yeah, my optimism was that notion of like having players that I thought Brunette was going to be able to activate offensively this season. Obviously there are some players that we knew were going to be good offensively, like Philip Forsberg, that have certainly really appreciated the style of hockey that they've been playing. So, the West is an interesting place right now. You look at the standings and you say to yourself that there are a lot of teams that we expected to be in playoff spots that are there. I think Winnipeg might be the biggest surprise as far as teams that are playing extraordinarily well that we didn't expect. But being that the wild card was going to be pretty wide open, the fact that the Predators are right there in the mix is encouraging, and I hopefully they'll stay there.
I know you've been asked this a million times, but why wasn't Brunette considered for more or the opportunity to get more head coaching jobs? Because it's like hockey's like baseball. You recirculate the same managers and head coaches on and on and on and on. I mean, he's obviously his little stint with Florida a couple years ago was great. He's doing great now. I just don't know why he was overlooked by so many teams.
Well, so the Florida thing was weird because you have to remember that he took over that team after Joel Quenneville had to resign, right? And so there was a notion of, okay, that's Quenneville's team. It's a team that was put together for Joel. Joel coached that group for a couple of years. The success that they had, the perception of some was definitely that Brunette was kind of there to keep them pointed in the right direction, but it was kind of like the work had been done by Quenneville before he had to resign. So he didn't necessarily get the credit he deserved, I think, for really doing a good job. And then the other problem with his stint in Florida is that, he gets fired basically because he got completely outcoached in the playoffs. And again, it was his first year as a head coach. You got to give him a little leeway, but it was a pretty significant differentiation between him and the coaches that he faced in the playoffs. So then he goes to Jersey. He's an assistant there. They do, great offensively with him on the bench, and I think that helped mend his reputation. But there was always going to be that notion of like, is this guy better as an assistant? Is he going to be a good head coach? And luckily, Barry Trotz decided, no, this guy's a head coach, and he's going to be our head coach. And I think the results are there.
We're talking to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, and with the Predators right now sitting fourth in the Central Division, they're only 6 points back of Colorado, who's in first. I feel like that's probably all going to, as the season goes along, we're not even to the halfway point, going to shake itself out where Colorado probably rises as one of the better teams in the National Hockey League. But what do you think about how jumbled up the Central Division standings are right now?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that you don't have the Avs or, I think a lot of us thought it could be Dallas sort of running away with things. I think parity rules right now in the Western Conference. I mean, you even look at like the last 10 games for the leaders in these in the Central in particular, and it's kind of all over the map as far as no one really putting together a streak necessarily. So, like I said, I think that we're all pretty confident that Colorado is going to be a playoff team. We're all pretty confident that Dallas is going to be a playoff team. And then after that, it gets kind of interesting, not only because of the way the Jets have played and the way that the Predators have played, but in the way that the Minnesota Wild had not played until they made the coaching change to John Hines and then kind of found their game again. So, those two teams in the West that whose early struggles really kind of upended a lot of predictions, the the Wild and the Oilers. Both those teams make coaching changes, and both those teams start to kind of like move up the standings a little bit, and the playoff picture that we see now could be a shade different in a couple of weeks.
Do you think that in the Pacific, do you think Vancouver is legit? Oh
yeah, for sure. Like that was the other bold prediction I made about the standings that everybody mocked me for, was saying that Vancouver was going to be a playoff team. I remember going on the radio in Calgary and them treating me like I said, aliens will land on December 14th. Like they're like, this is insane that you think that Vancouver's going to make the playoffs. I'm like, dude, they're better than the Flames. Like, watch. And then they are. I mean, they're better than the Flames. They're better than a lot of teams in the Western Conference. And part of the reason I thought they'd be good is that Rick Tocchet was going to get a full run of training camp, get a real handle on his team, really put his stamp on what that team should do and how it should play. And right from the start of the season, like, he's benching guys, he's calling them soft, like, he's doing all the things that he wants to do to make this team what he wants this team to be. And the other thing is that the core of this team is just really good. Like, Brock Besser having the goal scoring season that he's having, if that guy's healthy, that's what he does. Elias Pettersson's great. Quinn Hughes is going to maybe win the Norris this year. And Thatcher Demko is, when he's on his game, one of the best goalies in the league. So, they had a core of guys that I was confident could really perform if they're healthy, and they had a coach that I think could really kind of get them in the right direction. And they also made some pretty smart moves on the blue line too. So it all added up to them being good, and I'm not surprised they're doing as well as they are.
All right, Greg, I got one for you. Tell me what you think is the most worthless, useless stat in hockey, because I go back to football. There's a stat in football about pressures on a quarterback. To me, that's just a dumb stat that we always talk about. What to you? What is the kind of the worst one in hockey that really means nothing?
Well, it's two really. First off is that from a traditional stat standpoint, plus minus doesn't tell you anything. Everyone who follows hockey knows the plus minus is a stat you glance at. You maybe get a little bit of a sense of how a guy's playing, but ultimately, if I'm standing by the bench when a goal is scored, I get credit for being on the ice when a goal is scored, right? Like, I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing on the play, but I get credit for it. So that's the one stat that I think a lot of us point to. The other one I always kind of like side-eye is turnovers. If you look on the NHL website, you can kind of find eventually a page that gives you like takeaways, giveaways, things like that. And the giveaway stat's always deceptive because a lot of that is players trying to be aggressive and outlet passes that don't connect and things of that nature. And you could look at a guy, especially a defenseman, and say, well, this guy's a turnover machine, but it doesn't really tell you where the turnovers are happening or the nature of the giveaway. And I always felt that was a little wonky. And then the third one too, we should probably also acknowledge hits as being just a nonsensical stat. One, because if you're hit, every coach will tell you if you're hitting somebody, it means you don't have the puck, which is bad. And then the other thing is, and this was always the case with this guy Cal Clutterbuck on the Islanders. Depending on the arena, a hit might be worth one hit, a hit might be worth 3 hits.
Depends on who's keeping the stat.
Clutterbuck would finish the season with 10 hits a game, and you're just like, what? And then you look at his stats at the Nassau Coliseum, and it's like, oh, I understand now. There's a multiplier based on who's doing the stats in that building. So that stat's always been a little wonky too.
Greg, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Anytime.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, joining us here on the program. The stats are always
because the nerd analytics now of all things that going on, and it just more things are out there to look at. And that's why, to me, the whole pressure. The whole goal is to sack the quarterback. A quarterback understands pressure. You can still deliver unless you're hitting the quarterback or sacking him. To me, that's just almost as dumb as targeting.
Almost.
No, the targeting, from a quarterback to receiver. He was targeted 12 times in the night. Tell me how many times he caught the ball.
Right.
Don't tell me how many times he got the ball thrown to him. I wonder how many times he caught the football.
Well, okay. Now, I might disagree with you a little bit on that, just because I think for our Traylon Burks discussion, how much a guy was targeted also tells a story. Do they want to go to him?
I just want to know if he caught the ball.
Sure.
Did you catch the ball?
Sure, but Traylon was only targeted 3 times, he caught it 1 time. That shows me he's not a part of the game plan.
When you talk about Philip Forsberg, hey, how many minutes was he on the ice? Did he score or did he not score?
Right, but
how did he play?
That tells a part of the story.
Right, but still, give me the facts, man.
Okay.
I'm like Jack Webb. Is that his name from Dragnet? Maybe Dr. Crane watches those old shows. He would know that.
Come again. I'm sorry. I was working on something back here.
Dragnet.
He's working.
He is working.
He's working on ovens.
Just the facts, man. That's all.
Getting my next house ready to go.
Tomorrow is your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click. If you correctly guess a Preds player that scores a goal in the Preds game tomorrow night, you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming home game. Participate with Robbie and Rexroad tomorrow morning at 8:45. Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. List your home with TJ to get your home seen, heard, and sold. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Appreciate Greg Wyshynski for joining us. Delanie Walker, former Titans tight end, joining us at 10:15 today. Looking forward to catching up with number 82.
Our man Byron on the text line says we're talking about Jack Webb, just the facts, man, from the old Dragnet. And he's like, my wife threw Bookham Dano out the other day out of nowhere, and we have never watched that show. You know what Bookham Dano is, right?
Yeah, that's Bookham Dano's Hawaii Five-O.
Attaboy. I'm sure Dr. Crane knows because he spends his afternoon watching the old 70s TV shows.
TV, baby.
So Bookham Dano. All right, so I'm glad somebody knows what Bookham Dano is. So thank you very much. Yeah, and then Jack Webb. Jack Webb, yeah, the Dragnet. Just the facts, man. All these great one-liners from shows back in the day. So thank you, Byron, for listening and for commenting on that as well.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And we're still taking suggestions on Dr. Crane spent the afternoon. Dr. Crane, do you mind real quick telling people what you did yesterday afternoon that took 9 hours to do?
Yes, putting an oven door back on the hinges.
Putting an oven door back on the hinges because a piece of bagel bites had fallen through or something. What was it?
Yeah, part of the cheesecake, let's put it that way.
And it irritated you when you opened the oven?
Well, no, my mother was making the cheesecake. See, that's the thing.
Mamma mia!
Yeah, that too. Yes.
Do you do that too when she's cooking?
No, but there are some other
I could tell by his response to you that he's like, no, don't ever do that again.
It happens, okay? We do stuff like that, but not to that extent.
So she was cooking and the cheesecake fell in there.
Yeah, a little bit of the cheesecake fell down, and she ended up taking off the hinges, cleaning it out in the sink, and then, sure enough, trying to put it back on would never work. So
I have a follow-up on this, and I think it's a very important question.
Go ahead.
Why am I just now learning that your mother makes cheesecake, and why haven't you brought any in?
It's a great question.
It's a great question, actually.
I probably should ask to say, hey, Mom, we cool with bringing some cheesecake?
We might need a cheesecake.
I will.
You can contribute that to the lunch that we owe Robbie and Rex Road and Keezer, who worked his way in.
That's a good point. What's your mom's go-to dish? I mean, you're Italian. Give me something. What is it?
Go-to dish. She loves bolognese. My mom loves the bolognese with the pappardelle noodles.
Killing me, man.
They're the thick, long ones. They have a wide angle on them. It's more of a northern Italian dish. My family's not from the north in Italy, but my mom loves bolognese.
Okay. All right. So you spent a couple hours cleaning out the getting the food out of the glass?
Yes. It only took about like 30 seconds. The whole thing was like an hour and 30 minutes because it just took forever to get back on the hinges.
So we're going to start a company, and Dr. Crane's got an oven cleaning service. Not oven cleaning, but
oven repair, maybe?
Oven repair. No, yeah, you're not, because the oven works fine.
Right. It was fine. It just more like
oven door, right?
Yeah, the oven door.
So we were taking a lot of suggestions earlier for names for your new company that we just started at 9:03 this morning. For Dr. Crane coming over and
side hustle.
Side hustle to that. What was Oven Lovin' was the one
Oven
so far.
That was a good one.
That's the winner. 615-737-1025. Nick, you're a good young man, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
You make the world a better place.
I appreciate that.
Good
Both
attitude
of you as well.
Good attitude and getting the whole neighborhood together to come over and put the oven back on the hinges.
Shout out to Cliff, a good family friend of ours, a neighbor. He came to help. It was a whole ordeal.
Somebody's mad at us for cussing.
Nobody.
Is it you?
No, I don't cuss. Who is it?
I don't think we cussed. Did we?
We watch our profanity on this wonderful show.
No, not we. No. If Oven Lovin's the cussing, then I apologize. On that. Text line are fantastic. Our buddy Harold Milton Henry weighed in again. And Harold Milton Henry, we love you because, again, you're showing maturity.
He's not cussing.
Because you're not cussing anymore. He says, shots on goal is a useless stat. Only shots and goals matter. Preach! Preach, my brother. Preach. Nobody cares how many shots on goal you had. Did they go in or not?
Right. No.
That's it. Oh, here we go. The contrarian. That's your wrestling name.
I'm not going to. I'm not.
That's your wrestling name.
What? The Contrarian?
The Contrarian. You come out, with glasses on and a big notebook. Well, I'm gonna disagree.
Okay, can I be? Let me just be honest with you on something. When I'm doing the post game show, these stats are nice to have.
I'm sure they are
because I sound smart when I give them out. Like, did you know that in 28 minutes of ice time, Philip Forsberg had 7 shots on goal and 2 of them went in? You know?
Okay, I get it.
That's what they're for. They're for me.
That's fine. I totally understand that. Harold Milton Henry weighs in again. We're not going to use that one though. But thanks for that one for letting us know on that. Unhinged, Dr. Crane's own door cleaning service. Love it. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for that one too.
Great stuff, Tyler.
So we spend your afternoon cleaning ovens and watching MeTV.
6809 says the only staff that matters is wins and losses, not staff. That's your buddy.
That's right. Don't read his stuff. Do not read 6809 only more. Don't read that. But he's correct.
0858. We're sorry for cussing, even though I don't think we did. But thanks.
Yo, that's the thing. I mean, nobody all right. So last year, middle MTSU had like 4 or 5 one-score losses, right? The other teams have one score. It's become a big stat, one-score losses. And it's like, we were there. But the bottom line is, win the game. That's the tough part about that. You win the game, and, you were there towards the end. But, I was 8-2 in one-score losses. That's not an endearing stat. Also, I remember years ago I interviewed a guy from the National Sounds who was like 4 home runs away from being the all-time Sounds home run leader. And I said, what do you think about that? And he said, do me a favor, never bring that up again. He goes, that's the last thing I want to be known for is being the home run leader for the National Sounds. And I was like, I totally understand what you're talking about.
I totally get that too, for sure. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Delaney Walker coming up at 10:15. Moorhead chasing Big Joe. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe with you. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, fixing ovens back behind the glass and on the ones and twos.
Yes.
Delaney Walker coming up in 15 minutes.
For those going to the game this weekend, Paul Koharski brought up a great point the other day with Robbie and Rexford, a great point. You only have 3 more times to tailgate at Nissan Stadium. That's it. Because once the season's over, they're ripping the parking lot up and construction begins on the new stadium. You've got 3 more times to tailgate. So if you're like, I don't know if I want to go, this and that, go. Because you don't get these opportunities back again. And I never thought about that till Paul brought it up the other day, and that's a good point. If a lot of memories have been made with people tailgating over there, and I know, Chase, you've tailgated quite a bit. I have just a tad bit, but everybody's got great tailgating stories over there of celebrities coming by, of fights, of good times, just everything that goes with the tailgate happens over there. And I know you've partook and Chase in the tailgating throughout the years. I know you did some times with your father, with friends and everything, and you got one with Frank Wycheck.
I do. So, and I went to one a few weeks ago, the last home game with Ricky. That was really cool. I don't tailgate a whole lot, but I've had some good ones over the years where, we've my dad and I actually did when I was in my senior year in high school and then my freshman year in college, we actually was with Titans Radio. It was the tailgate party that they did before the games where we made chicken wings and served chicken wings. So that was cool. So Hair Metal Henry, who's an avid listener of the show, he's been texting in. A buddy of his had a really awesome tailgate probably 6-7 years ago, something like that, and got invited to it. Rick was there, and we showed up, and I mean, it was like prime rib and lobsters, and not what you would normally find at a tailgate.
Right, no tailgate.
It was awesome, open bar. Well, Frankie came by because Frank knew everybody before he had to go call the game with Mike Keith, and so that was just like 89 pulls up, and everybody goes nuts, and there's Frankie holding court and saying hi to everybody. So that was really cool. And so when you asked that question about tailgates, that's the first one I thought of because it was like, oh wow, yeah, Frank was there.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, hit us up on if you're tailgating on the game. 615-737-1025. Cool spots to visit this weekend and go to. I mean, there have been some that I've been, like I said, I'm usually covering the game, and I've only been to maybe 3 games as a fan, and I've tailgated those, so I don't have the stories of the
and that was the thing with me too. I was going and covering the games a lot. But I went to a few. Alex from Nashville says we need a Jared versus PK debate at a tailgate.
I don't know if I want to see them in person. I like it better over the radio where I can visualize what's going on. But that would be, I think Paul would really destroy Jared in something like that. That's my 2 cents. I'd put my money, which very little I have on.
Well,
Paul.
I mean, I don't know. Jared holds his own, but like both of them have podiums.
Like a debate, like the Lincoln Douglas debate. They would know. The one would shut up. You'd have to close their mic off or turn their mic off. Whatever happens there, that would be nonstop.
That could be interesting.
It could be very interesting.
You'd have to get a good moderator.
Yeah, but so where are they going to tailgate next year? I mean, you have to ride Ubers to get in. I don't know how this is going to work.
You're not really going to be able to tailgate around.
Does Freddie O'Connell know what I need to do next year?
I don't know. You want us to ask him? You want me to send an email?
Yeah. Hey, Freddie.
We both know his PR guy.
Oh yeah, we do. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
We could certainly ask.
I don't think those emails will get returned to us, but that's okay.
Probably not, but that's okay.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, because they're going to basically the giant parking lot next to Nissan Stadium is where the new stadium is going to go, and so they're going to start that process, and then there's nowhere to park, so therefore nowhere to tailgate.
The Indy car's already changing for next year, correct?
Yes, they're on Broadway.
Yeah, so
they've moved across the river essentially. I mean, they'll go across the bridge and basically do a U-turn, which we did a lot of those in Miami, do a U-turn down at the bottom of the bridge, and then come back across and go on Broadway.
Well, the GPS in Miami told us to take U-turns. It's like, take a U-turn here. I was like, it says don't take a U-turn. And she's like, take a U-turn here. I'm like, okay, I'll take a U-turn. And they just plead ignorant. Like, if they come up, like,
GPS told me.
If the cop pulls us up, I'm like, I'm not from here. We just got lost coming down here to the game. Then they're like, oh, they speak Southern. They must be dumb. Okay. And they're like, right, and they drive off.
But then they look at you and go, yeah, but you kind of enjoyed taking that U-turn in that Mustang.
I did. Between that and yelling at drivers in Miami, I had a really good time down there. So thanks for asking. Chase will never drive with me again, but that's okay.
It's okay. I'm over my fear now.
Also, I can't figure out a GPS, and it's like Chase riding with his grandpa. I was like, except Chase's grandpa's doing 90 down a turnpike, and that was the thing. And then it's like, go here, take a left here. I can't read this thing.
No. The best part is I'd be like, hey, you're going to turn right up here. Hey, Joe, you're going to turn right up here. And then he's going left, goes, where do I go? I'm like, right!
Because the GPS had the arrow going left, one on top of it going to the right, and just – but what did we do before GPS? I know we had the old map, you'd pull that and all that, but when I've been to Miami years ago before GPSs, I was like, all right, there's the city, Orange Bowl's over there somewhere, and just drive until you find it. The trial and error part of that was a disaster, but thank goodness for the GPS now.
So on the tailgate story I was telling – Laura, Henry's wife, just texted me and said that was Lumpy's tailgate. Lumpy is a old friend, roommate of Frank's, and that was a tailgate he always had. She said Tony Saragusa showed up one year and ate all the food.
R.I.P. Tony, man.
Joe Dubin probably would have done the same.
Hell yeah, you would have. What's the old thing that I stole it from Greg Pogue? Is like, we'll come to your tailgate, flirt with your women, drink your beer, and eat all your food. That's harmless. It's all harmless what we do over there for all those things. But the tailgaters at Hard Rock Stadium. I mean, they had like a disco going on over there. They had all the music and the food. I mean, it was cool. A lot of fun.
And I mean, I hope that I'm curious about that with the new stadium because obviously you're going to have to replace some of the parking that you're taking away with the new stadium, but I also think you're going to have a lot of stuff built up around it. Whereas like if you have restaurants and bars and everything around the stadium, then you don't necessarily need tailgates. But tailgates are so much fun.
They are. You just got to tailgate farther away from the stadium that you want to do. But you got 3 games left. You got the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Jaguars that are coming next week.
And the Seahawks is on Christmas Eve.
It is, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a great little time down there.
It sure is.
Do you think fans – I'm sorry, Joe. Do you think fans will actually go to the last home game, even though like some people might not be as interested or as invested as they were at the start of the season due to the fact of the record?
Good question, but something on top of that. All right, so it's on New Year's – is it the last game on New Year's Eve? I mean, last home game on New Year's Eve? 31st? Because if the game is Christmas Eve, then the last home game is New Year's Eve.
Are their last 2 at home?
No. The last one's at Houston in January.
Then I don't know.
Is the Jag game on the 31st? I think it is.
Hang on, I'm looking. I think that's one that could be a Saturday or a –
Chase is looking up Bing. No, they can't play Saturday because the Music City Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
Chase is looking up Bing.com.
Yeah, the Jags game they play Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
All right, so
but Houston on New Year's Eve.
Oh, at Houston.
Yeah. So the last home game is the Jags game, which is a TBD.
And that's January the something.
It's a TBD.
All right. I was going to wonder because if that last game was home on the 31st, then all the fireworks are set up over there on the river. That'd be kind of a situation with people and the fireworks.
I'm sure they
up.
planned that.
Yeah.
They're playing it the right way.
Then we know.
Coming up next, we will talk to former Titans tight end Delanie Walker. Really looking forward to this conversation with him. We'll get into what he's been up to, the Titans, Frank Wycheck, and much more here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All right, my good friends, listen to me. I want you to say goodbye to all those high medical bills. When you use Medical House Calls, you don't have to worry about hidden fees or surprise charges. Medical House Calls is revolutionizing how patient care is getting done. Look, patients pay one flat fee no matter the treatment, making Medical House Calls more affordable than the average urgent care and emergency room. Also, this cold and flu season, you can get tested and treated without ever leaving your home. Their mobile medical services are here to make your health a top priority. Just visit medicalhousecalls.com and see what everybody is talking about. Medicalhousecalls.com. In fact, Chuck McDowell loved the treatment he received so much, he bought the company. It's that good. Trust me on this. Check them out. Medicalhousecalls.com, where the nearest clinic is your home.
It is Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, presented by Regal Realty Group. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, and now joined by former Titans tight end Delanie Walker. Delanie, good morning. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I can't complain. I wake up every day.
Well, it's awesome to talk to you. I know it's been a while. What have you been up to since you stopped playing football?
A few things I've been up to. I work with the Legends coordinator, the Legends community. I'm a Legends coordinator. That's part of the NFL. It's just another entity that helps players when they retire. We try to help them transition out of the NFL. And then also I'm on a podcast with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton called Slips and Picks, where we're just being guys in the locker room, but also talking about football as well. So I'm just, trying to get my hands in a lot of things. When you're done playing football, you got a lot of time on your hands.
I know you're also working with the NFL Alumni Association here in Tennessee with Gear Up Tennessee. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I serve as an ambassador for the NFL Alum Tennessee Gear Up Tennessee campaign. Pretty much, we try to go out there and inform people in the Tennessee community about staying healthy, being up on date on their shots or whatever that is, flu, whatever. And then it's also a gang of guys that's a part of it that people may know in Tennessee. There's some legends that's a part of it, like Chris Johnson, Javon Curse, Brad Hopkins, Blaine Bishops, and Warren Moon is also a part of that. Just trying to help our community stay healthy and spread that message.
Well, and Delanie Walker is with us. The Titans alum lost one this week, and a guy that played the same position as you, Frank Wycheck, passing away at the age of 52. And, you talk tight end position in the Tennessee Titans. His name comes up and your name comes up. I don't know how well you knew Frank, but just sad news that he passed away this week.
Yeah, man, that's something you don't want to wake up to. I knew Frank pretty well. I wouldn't say like at some of the guys he played with, but every time we came across each other, he would talk to me about how well I was doing, and he loved to see that I was, leading the team and trying to change that culture. And just by me, watching Frank and seeing what he did over the years and what he's accomplished here in Nashville and for the state of Tennessee and for the community, man, he will be missed. He was a big part of the Titans coming here and being with who they were when they first got here, having that opportunity to go play in a Super Bowl.
Talking to Delanie Walker this morning on the Chase and Big Joe Show. Delanie, when you left San Francisco after the 2012 season, you've been to the Super Bowl. What was it about Tennessee that you wanted to come here? Was it the opportunity to be a starter and show the league what you could do? Because you spent 7 years with the 49ers.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, is just me having that opportunity in San Francisco. But my opportunity wasn't going to be the main role guy. We had Vernon Davis at the time, and he was playing excellent. He was Pro Bowl caliber, doing what he was doing. And, I knew at that time that it would be difficult for me to be the guy in San Francisco, knowing that we had Vernon Davis. So I had to, go and look for a team that was willing to give me that opportunity. Tennessee told me that, you have an opportunity to be the guy here. You just got to take advantage of it, take advantage of your opportunities. And, I looked at that as that's a great place for me. They given me that opportunity, and I knew I wouldn't let it go.
And, with you came through, you played for 4 different coaches. You had Munchak, Wisenhunt, Malarkey, and Vrabel. But you know what? You just kept the grind, right? Everything happening off the field you couldn't control. You can only control what you could do on the field with your teammates, right?
Yeah, you said it, had a lot of coaches, a lot of offensive coordinators. So every year the offense changed, and, I just really brought into whatever the coach we had and whatever the message was. I just brought into it, and I believed it. And I went out there and I said, look, I can't control what's going on upstairs, but I can definitely control what's going on in his locker room and what's happening on Sundays. And I try to do my best to win games and have everybody have that same mindset as me. And, we kind of changed the organization a little bit.
Do you have a list of how many passes you caught pass from a quarterback? There's got to be 15, right, at least?
It's a lot. I went on some show, and I don't even know how I was able to name all the quarterbacks, but I did. So, yeah, it's close to 15, maybe 12, I think, or 13.
Heck, that's with the Titans here, all that went on that. Hey, I want to ask you about the 2019 run, how magical that was when nobody gave you guys a chance and led up to the AFC Championship. What was the common denominator, Delanie, on that football team that made you guys all buy in?
We believed in each other, and I've always said that it was us versus everybody. And that was our mindset. Every year, the analysts or the ESPN specialists, they always doubt us. They doubt us. We know that, and that year coming in, they were doubting us. I think we already we lost 2 or 3 games early in the season, and everyone thought we were out. And then we made them strong comebacks in the end. And in the locker room, all we were saying was, it's us versus everybody. Let's show them. Let's go out there and show them what we do, with Mike Vrabel. he's all about being physical and tough, and that's all that mindset was. We got to be physical, we got to be tough, and it's us versus everybody. And we showed them.
Former Titans tight end Delanie Walker is here with us on the Chasing Big Joe show. And you look at this team now, Will Levis, the rookie, taking over at quarterback. You got a lot of young pieces on this team as they look to build for the future. But one constant is Derrick Henry, a guy that I know you know very well. How important is it to have a veteran that takes so much of the defense's attention like Derrick Henry on a young team?
I mean, that's big, especially, you know, for a young quarterback to have that running back there that, you know, most of the time the defense is focused on him helps. It takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback, giving him that opportunity to be able to read defenses and see what's down the field and make the plays that he's making. And honestly, it's him. You know, he got that fight in him. He got that dog. We've been seeing it lately, him just running the ball, pounding, punishing DBs, jumping in the air, getting the first down, making tackles, stripping the ball. I mean, the dude has heart, and with heart, that can take you anywhere. And I think that, you know, he may be the future for the Titans, and all we got to do is protect him.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of Derrick re-signing, staying here, because I still think he's got a lot left in the tank. How much do you think that Derrick Henry has left in the tank?
I think Derrick got a lot left in the tank. I know with running backs is, you know, we start talking about the tank, how much do they got left. They do take a lot of punishment. They carry the ball a lot. And, you know, Derrick did have his injury, but I think that gave him some time to rest and take some pounding off his legs, so where he can have some few more years of running that ball the way he likes to run it. Again, you know, it ain't just Derrick back there. It's 10 other guys on the field that got to make sure they do their job for Derrick to be successful. So, you know, I think he still got a lot in the tank. At the end of the day, business is business, so I can't even tell you what they're thinking up there.
Delanie, would you ever consider being a coach?
I get asked would I like to coach, and you know, I think one day I will. I just got out of football, and I think just going back into coaching, it's long days, very long days, and you know, it's stressful, you know, because if your team don't perform well, you pretty much on the chop block, not the players, the coaches. So, you know, one day I think I'll be ready to saddle up and start coaching. But I like my free time right now. So maybe in a few years.
I don't blame you. Now, you played for Mike Singletary at San Francisco, correct?
Indeed.
Yeah, and I remember he had a quote one time about how difficult it is to be a head coach because he always wanted every single guy to prepare and play and perform like he did. And I see you the same way, Delanie. If like a guy's not preparing the way you prepared, that's frustrating, isn't it?
It is, and it's tough. You know, you got to think about it as a coach. I'm going to speak on a tight end room. You got five to six guys. They all got different personalities. They all learn differently. So you have to find ways to teach these guys where they all can learn it the same way you can, and then go out there and perform it. You know, and that's tough. You know, and being in the locker room, being a leader in the locker room, and having to help guys and see some of the stuff that they would miss. You know, I always figured, like, always told people, I wonder how I can fix that to make this more clear for guys, because the way I do it is, to me, seems simple, but to other people it seems hard. So, you know, it's tough when they don't do it the right way, and you out there as a coach. And I don't ever want to cuss a player out. I know they're trying, but at the end of the day, it can frustrate you, and it makes you, you know, get after the player.
Delanie Walker is with us. So why do you think that Mike Vrabel's been successful? Because, I mean, he fits that mold too, played at a high level, won Super Bowls, but, you know, every guy I've talked to that's played for him, including you, has said that, you know, he speaks the language and he gets the best out of his players.
You said it right there. He speaks the language. He understands. He knows. He knows how we feel after certain games. He can tell just the way when you walk in, the way you talk to him. He knows because he's been in the locker room. He understands. He did it at a high level. But honestly, the reason why he gets stuff out of us is because he's honest. Vrabel is not the type of coach that tell you something in your face and lie to you and then go upstairs and be like, let's get rid of this man. He tells you straight up, like, this is what's happening. This is why you're not playing. If you want to play, get better, do this. We need you to be up there. We want you on the field. And he always been that way. He always been honest to us. But then it's the supporting cast. He brings coaches in that also buys into that philosophy, and I think that's what. Because when you got one guy saying a message and everyone who's working around you repeating that same message, it makes it easier for us to understand.
As you know, the tight end position is very, very important and has been in the Titans' history. They've been trying to find the right guy since you. Now they have Chig Okonkwo, who I think has shown some flashes, but I still think there could be another level for him. When you watch him, what do you see?
I mean, I see it's there. You can see the explosiveness. He breaks tackles when he's fast. I think he just got to, understand that he is that guy. His confidence level has to be consistent. He has to go out there and make plays every week. He can't be up and down, and that hurts sometimes. Sometimes that gets to you. Like, damn, I balled out this week, and then this week I didn't do so well. Sometimes that sits on you. He just got to go in every week knowing that he is that guy. He can make these plays. We saw him do it as a rookie. We just need him to be consistent because but they got Josh Well now behind him pushing him, so that should help. You always want to have somebody behind you that you think may can take your spot, because that's how I always felt like, oh, we got John New, we had Craig Stevens. Like, any moment, them dudes can take my spot if I don't play at a high level. So sometimes, it ain't a competition because they are on the same team, but sometimes you got to look at it as a competition.
Oh, exactly. Delaney, let me ask you this. I love asking ex-players this question. What was the hardest hit you ever took in a football game after you caught a pass?
And that I remember?
Yeah, that you remember. Yes.
Man.
Or maybe your welcome to the NFL moment.
It was probably the Baltimore game. I got knocked out that game.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a Baltimore game. I want to say 2016, maybe 2015. Got knocked out. Metberger was the quarterback. He threw me a slant over the middle.
Well, there's the problem.
Yeah, he threw me a slant over. It was a slant over the middle of cover 3. The safety blew me up.
Oh, my goodness. Well, at least you recovered from that one. Hey, somebody wants to say, Delaney Walker, somebody texted in, you're one of my favorite Titans of all time. I met you at many meet and greets. Thank you so much. And somebody else says, thank you for your community and your dedication to the community for giving away backpacks to the youngsters at schools. That meant a lot to my kids. So thank you, Delaney, for what you did off the field, man. That's great.
Oh, no. Thank them for even texting that. I mean, we have a platform, and I'm happy to see guys are really starting to open up, start their foundations to give back to the community. They got to understand, without the community, we wouldn't be where we at. So to give back to them, I mean, that's pennies, that they should be able to do that. And I saw Jeffrey Simmons is the man of the year, and we got the same publicist, so I know he out there doing his thing. So I had to shout out Jeff.
Yeah, you can shout him out for a lot of things. Big Jeff is a key part of that Titans team. Delaney, it's so good to talk to you and catch up with you. Gear Up Tennessee, NFLGearUp.org/Tennessee is where you can learn more about that. And where can we hear your podcast?
It's Slips and Picks on Bussin' with the Boys pod. So all you got to do is go on Bussin' with the Boys, and you'll see Slips and Picks. And again, like I said, that's Will Compton, Taylor Lewan, and myself.
Awesome. We will check that out. Delaney, thanks so much for doing this, and we'll talk again soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Delaney Walker joining us, former Titans tight end. Always, going in the locker room and covering these guys, he was always one of those that 82 was always available.
Well, I mean, you kind of gravitate toward guys who are going to give you beyond we got to watch film and get better. And Delaney was always – he was in the mold of the Bullock and the Vanden Bosch of being very honest with the team and with everybody else. And you love that as being in the media. You wanted those unfiltered kind of remarks of how things really are going. He was – simply fantastic with that.
Yeah, and he's someone, too, that, these guys, even on the team now, like if I'm Mike Vrabel, and I'm sure he's done this, but if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm bringing in somebody like Delaney Walker to talk to my team, to talk to these young guys, to sit with Chig Okonkwo, then talk about, the ups and downs of that position because he's been there. He's lived it. He's seen the highs and he's seen the lows. So really appreciate Delaney for joining us here on the program. We'll have much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, it was, but that's very.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Derek Mason at Teddy's Tavern this Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30 for the NFL pregame show. They'll break down the Titans' Week 15 matchup against the Texans and give you the latest updates before the game. Pregame is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and the Beasts Unleashed. Appreciate Delaney Walker for joining us in the last segment. Always a great guy. If you missed it, just go to thegamenashville.com, or you could subscribe to the Chasing Big Joe podcast and get it.
Which
right
everybody's
to
doing.
phone.
I mean,
oh,
I
yeah.
get notifications all day long. Thank you, Dr. Crane. All right, so we talked about Delaney Walker, about the different quarterbacks he's caught a pass from in his career. And it's an interesting list. Of course, with the 49ers, he had two I know, Alex Smith and Kaepernick were the two. There are probably more quarterbacks there as well. But this list of quarterbacks, and you walk down memory lane with the Titans, is fascinating. All right, 2013, can you name a quarterback he took a pass from?
So that was his first year?
Correct.
Jake Locker.
That's one. One more quarterback that year.
Matt Hasselbeck?
Incorrect.
Mettenberger.
No, not in 13.
It's Fabio, isn't it? The long-haired guy, whatever his name
Oh,
was.
Clipboard Jesus, Charlie
Yes.
Whitehurst.
Incorrect.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, who did you say? Who were you saying?
Charlie Whitehurst.
Okay,
yeah,
no.
that's who it was.
2013, he caught passes from two quarterbacks, Jake Locker and this guy. Here's your hint. This guy played on like 18 different teams, and he's smart.
Oh, Fitzmagic.
That's right.
Okay.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
So 2014, he caught passes from three quarterbacks. Can you name them? You just named them all in that setting.
Whitehurst, Met Show, and I'm missing one.
Jake Locker.
Oh, Locker.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 2015, he caught passes from a new quarterback. Mettenberger's one of them. Who's the other one? 2015. Come on, man.
Well, it wouldn't be Marcus, would it?
It would be Marcus
Okay,
Mariota. All right, 2016, he caught a pass from Marcus Mariota, but he caught a pass from another quarterback who made one start that year. These are all quarterbacks that started one game for the Titans in 2016.
Who was Marcus's first backup?
It'd be his second backup.
Or second backup. But 2016.
This guy, here's your clue. This guy was
Matt Castle.
Attaboy. Good job. Matt Castle,
Give me a second.
2017. 2018, Marcus Mariota started 13 games. This guy started 3.
Oh, Big Game Blaine. Blaine got it.
That's right. Good job, buddy. And then he was injured in 2019, so he probably did not catch a pass from Ryan Tannehill with that as well.
Nope, he would have caught a pass from Marcus.
Marcus. And that.
Well, he played 7 games in 2019, I think.
Did he? Well, maybe he would
So
have.
maybe he did.
Because Tannehill came in when they were 2-4. Maybe he did catch
it was
one.
the Denver game.
Yeah. But going back, this list is fascinating of quarterbacks. Like Chris Sims started one game in 2008.
Well, okay, if you want to do this game, so as the Titans, McNair, O'Donnell,
Yep.
who is it? Craig, Dave Craig. Dave.
What are you looking for?
I'm asking if this guy existed and started a game for the Titans. Dave Craig
Did not. According to this list, Dave Craig was with the Tennessee Oilers did not start a game.
Okay, but he was a backup.
He was a backup.
So McNair, O'Donnell, Billy Volek.
Yep.
Matt Mock.
Correct.
Is a random one. Kerry Collins. Thank you. Vince Young.
You're doing well.
Matt Hasselbeck.
Yep. You skipped over one starting quarterback though for the Titans.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think.
He's the only one that threw the ball to Randy Moss.
Oh, Rusty.
Rusty Smith. That's
Rusty.
right.
Get Rusty. Is that all from the Fisher era?
That would be you leaving. Yeah, you got them all.
Okay.
You got. Well, Sims we brought up, but you got Mock and
but
all those guys.
these are starts.
Hey, wasn't that the horse in Seinfeld, Rusty?
Yeah.
When Kramer's behind the horse. It ate the beans or whatever it was. Yeah, Rusty, and he couldn't. Oh, Kramer going around New York City. So that's. I mean, we hit them all. I mean, that's. I thought there'd be more quarterbacks than that but still, that's quite a few in that time. And Delaney Walker caught a pass from all those guys.
Okay.
And then even Archie Manning started for the franchise back in started
He sure
5
did.
games back in 1982 and 3 in 1983.
Dan Pastorini.
Yeah, and then
Plunkett.
Archie had a son named Peyton. He was like, I grew up be just like my daddy. I'll play some football in the NFL one day, and you'll see what happens, and I'll be all over the TV every time, whether you want me to or not.
Yeah, well, about that red 18.
I'm everywhere. Turn TV on, you see me right there. You know what I'm saying about that?
Are you Peyton or Elvis?
Peyton is Elvis. Elvis is Peyton. I'm telling
Just
you right
call
now.
him Pelvis.
So, oh gosh.
Lord.
It's a mixture of both.
What?
That's funny because
Elvis the pelvis.
Because they would not show Elvis below the waist on the Ed Sullivan Show, I think it was, because he was
It was too provocative.
Didn't he get arrested for indecent exposure because of? He did in Vegas because there's a shirt I almost bought it in Vegas that it's Elvis's mugshot that he got
way before he was famous. Though.
Yeah, well, he was starting to get famous, but like he was arrested for indecent exposure for shaking his hips.
You ever been arrested?
No.
You smiling? You ever been arrested? Nothing along
No.
the way. Yeah, I bet you have. Chaser. Taking pack of gum from Dollar Tree. No, I'm kidding.
I'm a good boy.
I'm
Come on.
kidding. My goodness, with all that. But no, there's the quarterbacks. And you imagine, I mean, look, you know, talk about Mettenberger threw him a pass and he got blasted by the Ravens. I mean, would you not go back to the huddle? I mean, I've been in those huddles when the receiver goes back screaming at the quarterback. And quarterback, all you can say is, my bad. I'm sorry about that.
Thomas in Nashville saying, don't leave out Mettenberger. We didn't. We said the Met.
Yeah, we said Mettenberger.
So I named every starting quarterback for the Titans.
You have. The only one that Chris Sims was the one, but I said that before you had a chance to guess that.
He started one game?
2008 season. According to this list.
I don't remember
Wikipedia is never wrong. Matt Mock started that last game in 2005 down in Jacksonville, which was a disaster.
Yeah, that was bad. Floyd talked about that one time. Huh. Well, there you go.
Yep.
This week in Titans history.
This week in Titans history going on. You know, Matt Castle was involved in that trade with Vrabel from the Patriots to the Chiefs in 2009.
Yep.
2008, after the 2008 season.
Yep, he sure was. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, America's favorite game, celebrity birthdays. We'll put a bow on things. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday so far. Dr. Crane on the ones and twos. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace, they are coming up next. Looking forward to that and what they have to say. And really cool that we had Delaney Walker.
It was, and we're walking down memory lane with all that stuff. It's just so vital. We talked a lot about Frank and his development with Steve McNair and helping become that safety valve for Steve and the confidence. And Delaney was much the same way with all the quarterbacks we ran down. He was always open. He was always there. Always. I think the thing was like with Frank and Delaney, always dependable. And they would do whatever it takes to get a yard for the team, help the team win. And so guys like Delaney and, of course, with Frank are few and far between, man.
Yeah.
It's something that's missing in a lot of locker rooms today or guys like that.
Will Levis needs to find that. I mean, obviously he's got DeAndre Hopkins right now, but, that's not going to be an option for the long term because Hopkins is only under contract for 2 years and, an older player. But Tajay Spears could be developing into that, as a good safety valve. Chikakonkwo still can develop into that. I don't know. I mean, I know that
whatever he did this past offseason, do the opposite. Because it's put you back.
There's something there, but he hasn't tapped it yet. And, potential is a dangerous word.
It is. It is. But you look at Mahomes. Where would he be without Travis Kelce? I know Tyreek Hill was great for him, but
that's all he's got right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Pacheco, but he's been hurt.
Throughout the years, great quarterbacks have always had reliable, dependable tight ends. We were walking through Hard Rock Stadium. There's a picture of Dan Marino and Jim Jensen, who was like, well, I don't remember that guy, but that was a great tight end and a safety valve for Marino back in the 80s. Crash Jensen that went on, and then all the teams, all the great quarterbacks have had those great, reliable tight ends, whether it's for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years. And so once Levis gets that reliable tight end, look at the Josh Allen and Dawson Knox and the relationship they got. It's on, and that's how you get things going. So once they get him a good tight end in there who can catch a pass and not drop it, it'll be much better for them.
See, it's easy. So all they need now is a left tackle, a center, and probably a right tackle too. So there's three. You need a wide receiver, need a tight end, and that's just the offensive side of the ball.
Go get a cornerback, yes.
Go get a shutdown corner because those grow on trees. So go get one. Maybe while you're at it, pick up another one. They need a middle linebacker.
Keep going. Yeah. Just a whole new team, right?
What am I missing?
A partridge in a pear tree.
A kicker. They're going to need a kicker long term because, it's not going to be Folk.
How dare you? Nick Folk is fantastic.
Well, he's awesome, but I think he's also like 40. So.
Well, look at you. How old are you?
36.
We're not trying to get rid of you. So.
Well, good. Thank you.
Some people age like a fine wine.
Rex Road said, thank you. Rex Road said that this morning and then, complained about us not getting his lunch. So we got to feed Rex Road.
Well, he can just stop with the attitude right now.
Yeah, but he's Rex Road. He always has one.
He does.
That's okay. All right. With that, Dr. Crane, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
All right, here we go.
Sorry. I got to do the thing.
God, I'm so sorry.
Follow Zach Pillar and his new Instagram account, Zach Pillar Design 69, and step into his world.
All right, here we go. Celebrity birthdays. Chase, you did well yesterday.
Thank you.
You did really well. First up was actor Ted Raimi. He appeared in the Xena and the Hercules TV shows. Ted Raimi.
62.
Those are back in the 80s, correct?
Maybe.
Those TV shows. Okay, well, we're gonna go 59.
58.
Yeah,
Dr. Crane, man, you just the deductive
Cleaning
reasoning.
ovens.
Yep.
It's good.
Actress Natasha McElhenney. She's been a bunch of stuff. Natasha McElhenney.
Thank you. 43. I have no idea.
What a name, Natasha.
Yeah.
Has a little ring to it. I'm going to go
Thanks.
52.
54.
Okay.
Dr. Crane getting up there. Up 2-0. He studied because he got beat so bad yesterday.
I did not. I was
That
too
was
busy.
in between cleaning ovens.
Oh,
Too busy with those ovens.
actress Vanessa Hudgens.
Okay, Vanessa Hudgens.
Today.
44.
I'm going to go a little younger. She's got to be in her 30s. I'm going to say 38.
35. You
Dang
missed
it.
about one, Dr. Crane. Let's see who else here. We're going on down. There's a lot of people. All right, the mom in E.T., Dee Wallace. She was also in Cujo. Dee Wallace.
74.
Cujo, is that animated film? That's a good film, actually. I watched that in film studies in high school.
No, Cujo's about a rabid dog written by Stephen King.
Well, there's another movie I think named Cujo. Are
you thinking of Clifford the Big Red Dog?
No, not Clifford.
Good Lord.
It's an animated origami film. Yeah.
Animated what film?
Like origami film.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said something else. No.
Good Lord. I'm gonna go 48.
Good Lord. I don't even know who our ass we're talking about now.
What are we doing?
Oh, Dee Wallace. She's 75. Chase had 74.
Oh.
Good Lord, man. Let me see where I'm at now. I think my whole
Caroline, help.
all right, actress Cynthia Gibb. She was in Fame, TV's Fame, and maybe some other stuff.
I have no idea who that is either, so I'm going to say 57.
64.
60. You guys are so close. Proud of y'all. Let's see who else. What a terrible day for birthdays. All right, actor Jackson Rathbone. He was one of the vampires in Twilight. He might have been one of the dads. I don't know. I watch all those things with my eyes shut because my daughter wanted to see him.
42.
51.
39. Boy, this is really. We need more celebrities born on December the 14th. There's always the bass player Cliff Williams of AC/DC. I think he's an original bass player of the band.
78.
84.
74. And that's it. There's nobody. I can't make.
Honorable mention, Frank Sinatra's birthday was 2 days ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Crane. Oh, Blue Eyes.
Oh, Blue Eyes. I got a Frank Sinatra story I'll tell you off air. That doesn't
Please.
concern me, but I'll tell you off the air.
Are you going to go fix some ovens today, or you got something else on the agenda?
Something else on the docket, yes.
Okay, cool. Well, you can update us on that tomorrow.
Bonanza's on at 2 o'clock today. No, 1 o'clock.
3:30. Come on,
3:30?
Joe.
I thought it was at 1. Rifleman's on at 2.
What about Gunsmoke?
No one
Noon.
comes on at 6 o'clock sometimes.
Gunsmoke's at noon, and then Bonanza at 1. I saw one yesterday where Little Joe got lost in the desert, and they had to go find him. And I'm like, just call somebody. And they didn't do that. So it was
Call
a good
Rusty.
show. Call Rusty. Right. So we'll get you more of your after show doings tomorrow, Dr. Crane.
Thank you.
That might have to become a thing.
Yes.
For sure. Great participation today. Thanks for laughing along with us, because in the words of Jimmy Buffett, if we couldn't laugh, we'd all go insane. And
That's
Caroline,
true.
Willie, and D-Mace coming up next.
As we leave you every day, my friends, so the guys out there know that we love you. If you're struggling, listen, it's simple. Get on your cell phone, call 988. Reach out to a good friend. It's okay. Swallow that pride. We all have to at one time. But the bottom line is we let you guys know that we love you, and our world is a stronger place because you are here. Please know that.
Amen to that. We're back at it at 9 tomorrow. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.